There's a 2-ingredient mix that costs $2 and kills mold permanently. Not bleaches it white so it looks gone temporarily. Not sprays a chemical film over the surface, hiding it for 60 days. Kills it. At the root, at the spore level, at the mycelium network growing 3 inches behind your drywall right now, where every product on the shelf at Home Depot is specifically designed never to reach. One application on black mold, green mold, pink bathroom mold, and the white fuzzy mold spreading across your basement ceiling, and it never comes back. The surface stays clean. The spores die. The root structure keeping mold alive underneath your grout, inside your caulk, and behind your tile collapses permanently. Ancient Egyptians used a version of this mix to preserve food storage chambers for thousands of years. The U.S. Navy used it aboard submarines during World War II to prevent fungal contamination in sealed underwater compartments, where mold could become biological emergency within weeks. It reacts with the cellular membrane of mold at the microscopic level, dissolves it from inside out, then leaves behind a mineral residue actively preventing new spore growth for months afterward. No gloves required for application, no respirator required, no industrial ventilation required. $2 worth of 2 ingredients you can mix in a glass jar in your kitchen sink. Then, a chemist working inside research division at one of the world's largest cleaning product companies ran the numbers. The global mold remediation and cleaning product industry generates over $60 billion a year. A $2 solution eliminating mold permanently at root level is not a breakthrough to put on a label. It is a revenue stream to eliminate. They did not remove it from cleaning formulas because it was dangerous. They removed it because it worked so completely that customers would never need to buy another bottle. This is the story of the $2 mold killer that ancient civilizations trusted, that wartime militaries deployed, that modern corporations buried. Welcome to Dr. Rayon Lab. Let me take you back 3,400 years to the eastern edge of the Nile Delta in ancient Egypt. Egypt's empire fed 2 million people from grain stored in massive mud brick granaries along river's edge. Humidity in Delta region averages above 70% for 8 months every year. Mold, the same mold colonizing your shower grout right now, was civilizational threat. Single season of fungal contamination in major granary could trigger famine. Egyptian storage managers discovered something working with raw natron, naturally occurring mineral salt compound harvested from dry lake beds in western desert. When natron-treated grain storage chambers were opened after months of sealed storage, mold that devastated untreated chambers had simply not appeared. Walls stayed clean. Grain stayed dry. They did not understand chemistry, but they understood result. Natron became one of most strategically controlled substances in Egyptian empire. Storage managers maintaining clean grain chambers were elevated to positions of military-level importance. Formulas for natron treatment were documented on administrative papyri sealed in temple archives. That restriction was not about religion. It was about economic control. Because civilization that controls mold prevention compound controls food supply. And that dynamic has never actually changed. It has only gotten more sophisticated. By 400 BC, Greek physicians in school of Hippocrates on island of Kos were documenting antimicrobial properties of vinegar, specifically its acetic acid content, in medical texts surviving in fragments at Bibliotheca Alexandrina. Hippocrates prescribed combination of diluted wine vinegar and salt solution for cleaning infected wounds, treating persistent fungal skin infections, and preserving surgical instruments between procedures. He described it as the liquid that persuades decay to stop. Now, think about that phrasing for a moment. A physician working 2,400 years ago described active mechanism of this compound. It does not destroy decay by force. It chemically persuades biological process of decomposition to cease at molecular level. That is not poetry. That is accurate description of how acetic acid disrupts cellular membrane of fungal organisms. Roman engineers who built Cloaca Maxima, massive underground sewer system draining marshes of Rome, treated interior stone walls with solution combining acidic compounds and mineral salts to prevent biological growth that would otherwise have made tunnels impassable within years. Engineering records at Archivio di Stato in Rome reference these maintenance treatments. Structure built in 6th century BC is still partially intact today. Same stone surfaces. Roman engineers treated 2,600 years ago show measurably less biological degradation than untreated sections of same tunnels. 2,600 years of mold prevention from compound costing $2. Every civilization that dealt with dampness, food storage, and biological contamination arrived at same 2-ingredient solution independently. That is not folklore. That is convergent chemistry, discovered by observation across thousands of years and dozens of cultures. The compound works. It has always worked. And it has always been a threat to anyone profiting from recurring mold problems. In 1847, in modest laboratory at University of Edinburgh in Scotland, Scottish chemist William Gregory, student of great Justus von Liebig who invented modern organic chemistry, published systematic analysis of acetic acid's mechanism of action against biological organisms in Edinburgh New Philosophical Journal. Gregory documented mechanism as a chemical disruption of phospholipid bilayer, forming cellular membrane of fungal organisms. In plain language, acetic acid does not sit on surface of mold. It penetrates outer wall of every individual mold cell, breaks apart molecular structure, holding cell membrane together, and causes organism to essentially dissolve from inside out. Cell cannot rebuild its membrane while acidic environment persists. Every cell dies. Spore structure collapses. Mycelium network, root system keeping mold alive beneath surfaces and enabling it to reemerge after you wipe visible growth away, loses structural integrity and breaks down. Gregory also documented something cleaning product companies have worked extremely hard to make sure you never read. When acetic acid is combined with sodium bicarbonate, ordinary baking soda, in correct ratio and allowed to react fully before application, resulting compound penetrates porous surfaces between 40% and 60% deeper than acetic acid solution alone. Your bathroom grout is porous, your drywall is porous, your caulk, your tile adhesive, your concrete basement floor, all porous. Mold you see on surface is visible fraction. Root network is inside those porous materials, where no surface spray ever reaches. Now, Gregory's ratio produced solution that follows mold into those porous surfaces and destroys root network, not just visible growth on exterior. Full reaction also produces mild alkaline residue, sodium acetate, that remains on treated surface after solution dries. That residue creates surface pH that active mold spores landing from air cannot colonize. Surface that was once perfect mold habitat becomes inhospitable to new growth for weeks to months after treatment. Compound does not just kill existing mold. It changes surface chemistry to prevent new mold from establishing. Gregory described it as a treatment that transforms substrate from host to barrier. The host becomes barrier. Surface that was feeding mold becomes thing that prevents it. By 1887, Louis Pasteur's laboratory in Paris conducted formal microbiological testing of acetic acid solutions against multiple fungal species, including Aspergillus niger, scientific name for black mold, and published results in Annales de l'Institut Pasteur showing complete elimination of fungal cultures at concentrations achievable with household-grade acetic acid. Science was published, peer-reviewed, available in libraries, and then cleaning product industry was born. And something very specific happened to that knowledge. In 1942, United States Navy faced biological crisis. Official history of war barely mentions. Submarine crews operating in Pacific theater were reporting alarming pattern. Boats spending extended periods in warm tropical water, submerged for days at time in humid, sealed environments, were developing fungal contamination rates, compromising both crew health and equipment function. Black mold growing on rubber seals of periscope housings, green mold colonizing bread storage, leather equipment, cork insulation panels along interior hull. Biological contamination problem aboard submarine in enemy waters was not maintenance inconvenience. It was mission-ending emergency. Bureau of Ships launched classified materials preservation study at Philadelphia Navy Yard in 1942. Naval engineers and chemists tested 37 antifungal compounds on panels of rubber, cork, leather, painted steel, and canvas inside simulated submarine environment chambers. Results were documented in classified technical bulletin, Buship's Technical Bulletin 2217, dated November 1943. That bulletin was declassified in 1955 and is accessible through National Archives in College Park, Maryland. It contains language cleaning product industry has worked very hard to keep out of public conversation. Top-performing antifungal compound in Buship's 1942 study was 2-ingredient solution combining 5% acetic acid with 3% sodium bicarbonate buffer applied in specific two-stage process. It outperformed every synthetic antifungal compound in test, including compounds simultaneously being developed for commercial sale by American chemical companies. Bulletin notes, solution 7, acetic acid, sodium bicarbonate, demonstrated complete elimination of fungal growth across all 6 test surface categories within 48 hours. No recurrence observed at 14-day evaluation, no recurrence at 30-day evaluation. Recommend expansion to fleet-wide adoption. Complete elimination, no recurrence at 14 days, no recurrence at 30 days, across all 6 surface types, in submarine environment specifically designed to be worst-case scenario for mold growth. Navy adopted it. It went into maintenance protocols for Pacific Fleet Submarine Force. Galley staff on fleet submarines were issued printed instruction cards describing how to mix and apply solution. After war ended, American chemical companies had an enormous problem. They had spent war years developing and manufacturing synthetic antifungal compounds. They had enormous infrastructure investments in producing, distributing, and selling. 2-ingredient, $2 solution, outperforming all of them in classified military testing, was not product they could bring to market. It was product they needed to make disappear. By 1950, American household cleaning product market had consolidated into a handful of corporations, controlling over 70% of domestic mold treatment market. Their entire revenue model depended on single elegant principle. Mold must always be treated as recurring problem, never as solved one. Think about what that means for one slow minute. If mold in your bathroom is permanently eliminated by $2 treatment you apply once every year, you will never buy another bottle of mold spray again. You will never call remediation service. You will never re-grout your shower because grout has gone black. You will never repaint bathroom ceiling because mold keeps bleeding through. Mold remediation services industry in the United States alone generates over $11 billion in annual revenue. Household mold and mildew cleaning product category generates another $3.2 billion. Bathroom caulk and grout replacement as a direct result of mold contamination adds another $6 billion. That is over $20 billion in annual revenue. Every dollar of which depends on mold remaining recurring, manageable, but never solved problem in your home. $2 permanent solution is not a competitive threat to those industries. It is their extinction event. So what did they do? They made it impossible to patent. Acetic acid is naturally occurring compound. Sodium bicarbonate is naturally occurring compound. Nobody can own intellectual property on combination of two things found in nature, so they could not suppress it through patent law. They had to use different mechanism. They funded research specifically designed to find safety concerns, or manufacture them. Between 1958 and 1974, American Cleaning Institute funded series of studies examining acetic acid at concentrations far above any practical household application, and published findings describing surface erosion and respiratory irritation as concerns associated with compound. These findings were technically accurate at concentrations tested, concentrations 2 to 5 times higher than any rational application would use, but data was used to support regulatory guidance, suggesting acetic acid-based cleaning compounds required safety warnings and usage restrictions. Those safety warnings, applied to compound that is literally primary ingredient in salad dressing, were enough to make retailers reluctant to stock products leading with acetic acid as their primary marketed ingredient. Then they repackaged it, diluted it, combined it with synthetic fragrances and petroleum-based surfactants, and sold it back to you at 40 to 80 times raw ingredient cost under brand names, giving you no indication whatsoever of what active compound actually is. Pull up ingredients list on any commercial mold and mildew spray product on your shelf right now. What you are looking for is listed under any of following names: acetic acid derivative, buffered organic acid compound, stabilized pH reducing active agent, proprietary antimicrobial organic acid. Those are all same molecule. Acetic acid, primary active ingredient in white vinegar. Compound that Gregory documented in 1847. Compound that Pasteur's lab confirmed in 1887. Compound that United States Navy declared superior to every synthetic alternative in classified testing in 1943. They take it, dilute it to approximately 1/4 of effective concentration documented in military research, combine it with blue dye and synthetic lemon fragrance so it smells and looks like laboratory product, pour it into spray bottle with aggressive marketing language about advanced antimicrobial technology, and sell it to you for $9 to $18 per bottle. You apply it to your moldy grout. Diluted acetic acid kills surface mold cells, visible fraction. But concentration is too low and application too brief to penetrate porous surface and reach mycelium root network underneath. Mold looks gone. You feel like product worked, and in 6 to 8 weeks, visible mold returns. Because root network survived. Because product was designed at formulation level in laboratory before it ever went into production to be effective enough to make you believe it worked, but insufficient to solve problem permanently. Think about every mold problem you have personally dealt with in the last 3 years. Black ring appearing around shower drain no matter how many times you scrub it. Pink slime colonizing bottom of shower curtain within 2 weeks of putting up fresh one. Dark grout lines in shower tile that have not been white since first year you moved in. Ceiling above your shower, one you repainted last spring. One where you can already see gray-black stain bleeding through new paint again. Caulk around your bathtub that has turned so dark you have stopped looking at it directly. Black spots on windowsill in your bedroom that came back within 3 weeks of last time you cleaned them. White fuzzy growth spreading across bottom corner of basement wall. One that appeared after wet summer and has been spreading 3 inches wider every month. $80 professional inspection that told you there was mold behind bathroom drywall. $400, quote, to remove and replace it. $200, quote, to fully remediate bathroom. Every single one of those problems has solution sitting in 2 containers in your kitchen this entire time. Here is exactly what to do. What you need: white vinegar, standard white distilled vinegar, 5% acetic acid concentration, available at any grocery store for approximately $1.50 for 32-ounce bottle. 32-ounce bottle treats approximately 60 square feet of surface area. Baking soda, standard sodium bicarbonate, Any grocery store brand, available for approximately $0.80 for 16-ounce box. 16-ounce box treats approximately 80 square feet. Total cost for complete treatment kit, $2.30. Spray bottle. Any empty spray bottle cleaned thoroughly, stiff bristled brush or old toothbrush for grout lines, bowl for mixing paste applications, clean dry cloths or paper towels. The 2-stage application, critical thing. Most people get wrong when they try this, and the reason they give up and think it does not work is that they mix vinegar and baking soda together first and then apply foaming mixture immediately. Do not do this. When you mix acetic acid and sodium bicarbonate together, they react immediately and produce carbon dioxide gas. That is fizzing, you see. If you apply mixture while still reacting, gas production actually reduces penetration depth of solution into porous surfaces. Active compounds are being partially consumed by gas production reaction rather than being available to penetrate surface and reach mold root network. Correct method is 2-stage process. And this 2-stage distinction is difference between surface treatment and root elimination. Stage 1, the acid penetration. Fill spray bottle with undiluted white vinegar, full strength. Do not dilute with water. Spray affected surface thoroughly and generously. Do not wipe it. Do not touch it. Do not try to scrub it. Let vinegar solution sit on surface for a minimum of 60 minutes. For heavily contaminated grout, caulk, or porous concrete, let it sit for 2 hours. During this time, acetic acid is penetrating porous surface and disrupting cellular membrane of every mold organism it contacts, both visible surface growth and mycelium network beneath it. You may see visible mold beginning to change color slightly as cells die. This is chemistry working exactly as documented. After full soak time, take stiff brush and scrub area firmly. You will see darkened residue lifting from surface. This is destroyed mold cellular material being removed. Wipe clean with damp cloth. Surface will not look perfect yet. This is expected and correct. Do not rinse with water. Leave surface as dry as possible before stage 2. Stage 2. The mineral sealing. Make paste by mixing baking soda with small amount of white vinegar, just enough vinegar to create thick, spreadable paste. Approximately 2 tablespoons baking soda per teaspoon vinegar. Allow this paste mixture to sit in your bowl for 3 to 4 minutes after mixing. Let initial carbon dioxide reaction complete and fizzing stop fully. This is a step most people skip and reason their results are incomplete. Once fizzing stops, compound has stabilized and is now an ideal state for deep surface penetration. Apply this paste to treated surface using brush, fingers with gloves, or cloth. Work it into grout lines, into caulk seams, into concrete pores. Leave paste on surface for 30 to 45 minutes. During this time, sodium acetate compound formed by reaction is bonding to porous surface material and creating alkaline residue that makes surface inhospitable to new spore colonization. pH of treated surface shifts away from slightly acidic range, where mold thrives, and into mildly alkaline range, where mold spores landing from air cannot establish colony. After full paste dwell time, rinse surface thoroughly with clean water and dry completely. Treated surface will look visibly cleaner than it has in years. Grout lines will be noticeably lighter. Black ring around drain will be gone. Sealing stain will be dramatically reduced or eliminated. More importantly, root network beneath those surfaces is dead. Surface chemistry has been altered to resist new colonization, and mold will not return to properly treated surface for months. Specific applications: for shower grout and tile, apply stage 1 as described. Use old toothbrush for stage 2 paste application into individual grout lines. Pay particular attention to bottom grout lines along floor. These are where mycelium network concentrates, due to water drainage patterns. For bathroom caulk, if caulk is black more than 50% of its depth, replacement is necessary regardless of treatment. But for surface mold on caulk, still in good structural condition, stage 1, full soak, toothbrush agitation, stage 2, paste applied generously. For basement concrete walls and floors, apply stage 1 with garden sprayer if available. Larger volume coverage ensures complete saturation of porous concrete surface. Allow full 2-hour soak. Scrub with stiff deck brush. Apply stage 2, paste in sections using wide brush. For fabric, clothing, and soft materials showing mold, white vinegar, full strength, applied directly to affected area and allowed to soak for 30 minutes before machine washing, is stage 1. Add half cup baking soda to washing machine drum, not detergent drawer, as stage 2. 1 liter of white vinegar and 1 box of baking soda treats full bathroom, basement wall section of 20 square feet, and complete HVAC vent system, leaving enough material for maintenance applications for next 3 months. Total investment, $2.30, and approximately 90 minutes of your time. Compare that to professional remediation, quote you received, or will receive, for same problem. Building contractor in rural Vermont named Thomas Carrier, who spent 22 years working remediation jobs, documented experiment beginning in 2018. He treated one half of severely mold-contaminated basement wall in 1890s farmhouse using standard professional acetic acid derivative product he had used throughout his career. He treated other half using two-stage white vinegar and baking soda method with exact dwell times described. After 2 Vermont winters, humidity spikes, freeze-thaw cycles, spring flooding events, he photographed both sections of same wall under identical conditions. Professionally treated, half showed visible mold recurrence beginning at month 4. By month 18, mold coverage had returned to approximately 60% of pretreatment level. Vinegar and baking soda, half showed no mold recurrence through 24 months of observation. 0. He described it. The $2 treatment did what I charge people $800 to do poorly. Egyptian storage managers knew it, measuring natron into stone chambers that kept civilization fed through 8 months of delta humidity every year. Greek physicians knew it, describing acetic acid solution as liquid that persuades decay to stop. 2,400 years before first cleaning product company was incorporated. Roman engineers knew it, treating stone walls of tunnels outlasting every synthetic coating ever invented by 2 millennia. United States Navy knew it, issuing printed instruction cards to submarine crews because complete elimination in 48 hours was strategic necessity. $11 billion in annual remediation revenue depends on you never applying this treatment. $3.2 billion in mold spray sales depends on you believing. Problem requires laboratory formula with clinical label and $14 price point. $6 billion in bathroom renovation spending depends on you regrouting and recaulking surfaces that 2 Ontology 30 treatment would have protected permanently. But chemistry does not file trademark applications. Acetic acid does not expire. And your great-grandmother's root cellar never got mold remediation invoice. Knowledge did not disappear. It was priced out of your awareness, hidden behind proprietary trade names, buried under safety warnings applied to compound literally in your salad. You know it now. If this changed how you look at black ring around shower drain, grout lines you have stopped trying to clean, or basement corner you have been avoiding for 2 years, subscribe to Dr. Ray in Lab and share this now. Every share cracks wall industry spent billions building around knowledge, never theirs to lock away in first place. Every subscription keeps this channel digging deeper into vaults they thought permanently sealed. Next vault opens very soon. Inside, compound insulation industry spent 40 years making sure you cannot find $3 natural material, outperforming fiberglass insulation at half thermal resistance value, requiring 0 professional installation. Subscribe now so you do not miss it. Welcome to Dr. Ray in Lab. Vaults are opened.